Marriage is honorable with bed on the fire.
How will I know if I can get pregnant? We need to test ourselves. How will I even know that you can even impregnate me?
The Bible also said that we should forgive 77 times 7.
Like life, I know they forgive. This particular one, it broke my heart. It scattered my heart.
The scriptures also said, be not unequally yoked with an unbeliever.
Where sister is fair. You understand? He's a very handsome somebody.
The Bible also said that a man shall leave his father and his mother and shall cleave to his own wife.
So you are telling me now that no see, in our family, it's my dad that used to make decision for everybody. So he must still make decision for us. Welcome to another episode with the KDees. Nice to have you here again.
Yeah, it's really nice too.
This is like the final episode for this, should I say this season?
Yeah, final episode.
So today we'll be talking about a very, very interesting and delicate topic. It's not really a question, it's just a topic. God said versus what I want.
What I want. Yeah.
God said versus what I want. You all know how it goes, right? The man first. So let's do this.
Alright, hello guys. It's always a privilege being sharing all these tips and nuggets. Alright, so this question is a very touchy one. It's something that covers, it's for everybody literally. So and because marriage is a universal concept, nature tells you that a man should be married because you know the subject of procreation and all that. So the Christians and even those who are out of the faith, somehow they practice marriage. But it's very important we find out what marriage actually is before we can, you have to go to the manufacturer to find out what he created or what he manufactured so you can know how to use it. So the creator of marriage in itself is God. And the Bible made it clear that after he had created Adam, he had to take from the rib of Adam and made another, and made a woman and brought Eve to Adam. And from there, I believe they started marriage. So marriage is very, very important, and we need to find out what God has to say about it. Now, when it comes to what we want and what God wants, there are two principal things that comes to mind: the subject of faith and the subject of sight. Listen, let me tell you. Using my wife as an example, by the time, personally, I loved, Coke bottle shape or Fanta bottle. Naturally.
Figure 8.
Yeah, I loved it. And there's nothing wrong with loving it anyway. There's nothing wrong with it. But as at the time I met my wife, like when we started courting or dating, there was nothing figure 8.
Straight, I think.
She was just straight.
Tiniboko.
So, why am I saying this? You see that there is always somehow a conflict between sight and faith. God is seen from an eternal perspective. We are seen from the momentary perspective, today, tomorrow, and that is it. It is not bad that you see today and tomorrow, but just that when you zoom out, when you see the bigger picture, you will find out that you are cheating and shortchanging your life and even your destiny. Making marital decisions just because, he's fine, he can take me out, and that's what you are saying.
He has his bags.
He has his bags, pink lips. He's fair. He's from Igbo.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You have finished me.
You are in for a big shocker. Now, I'm not saying God cannot give you all these. No, I'm not saying God can't. But oftentimes, when God brings a blessing to you, it's shrouded. Whatever God does, in the immediate time, it looks confusing. There was never a time God did anything, even how God worked scriptures. If you look at the life of Joseph, Joseph was meant to be a prime minister, but you know the starter pack? They sold him to slavery.
Starter pack.
You get that point, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes when God wants you to marry someone, it's like, not like God wants you. God, what God does, there is no, I heard a message that said, there is no the one. There is no like, there is one person that was created for you. No. You understand? But when God is making marital decisions with you, helping you to select, sometimes it won't be appealing. Sometimes you have to suspend your brain. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes suspend this brain. Suspend it, because how can you tell that God asked a prophet to marry a prostitute? Does it look sound to you?
It not makes sense.
I'm sorry to use the life of our mentor to teach us now. Although she has come out to share the story now. Before she got married, she was like, she was this kind of person that most guys have had carnal knowledge of her. Like, it was that bad that at a point she slept with a friend that, like, the person he was dating and the friend of the one he was dating.
He slept with two friends.
It was that bad. You
just
understand?
finished with the boyfriend, slept with the boyfriend's friend. I think
now,
that's the story.
Yeah. Now, can I shock you? She got married to a guy who had not slept with anybody. A guy who feared God.
Holy brother.
You understand? By design now, that guy would have said, God, how come I've kept myself all this while? How come I'm getting married to somebody who have done all this? You don't judge God. Now, their marriage is doing exceptionally well. In fact, we are product of their marriage.
100%.
They still do counseling for us sometimes. You get that? So the whole point is this: suspend your brain. It is not in fact, in how it should go, let the will of God come first before every other thing will come second. Follow God. And at the later part of your marriage, you see, I'm not to brag, but my wife is looking beautiful now. She has all the shape. In fact, I'm okay now. Just imagine I have gone for the looks. By now, who knows where I would have been? All right,
my head of my head of blue. Okay, so this whole concept of what God wants versus what I want is a real drag. I don't know about guys. I'm going to talk from a female perspective because, like he said, I wanted a man that was, first of all, Igbo, had 6 packs, and is fair and tall, like really tall. And because I'm not that tall, I'm just 5 feet. So I needed somebody that was 6 feet and, like, when I'm talking about, I'm looking above. And I want to see muscle everywhere. But the man that I am married to
6 pack in the spirit anyway.
has 6 packs in the spirit. And he's not even as, like, he's a bit tall. He's taller than me, but he's not as tall as I had envisioned. He's a bit light skinned, but he's not as fair as I envisioned. And all of that. And it's not even Igbo. Like, it's not the main Igbo. It's the diluted Igbo, Delta Igbo. So you understand? If I had, like, settled down and used what I wanted as a criteria, I'm sure I'll probably be with one blessed soul at the moment, and I will not be doing this. So I think what you should do is prioritize what God wants. And there's a basic will of God for everybody, and there's a general will of God. Right? There's a general will of God. First of all, God does not want you to be unequally yoked with an unbeliever.
Very important.
That is very, very important. So you should know that one of the criteria for choosing is that this person must be a believer. And when we talk about believer, we're not just talking Christian. We say real believer. By their fruits you shall know them. Right? And there are other tenets that God has set already. Like, for example, sex before marriage is a big no-brainer. No. So there's no 2 ways around it. In our side, they used to know whether you can give birth first. From where we have no. This one is not any. No. There are many issues that can come up from that. Some people made some mistakes before they got married, but when you are applying towards marriage, just stop it. You understand? And what was that last one? There are many other basic things. Leave your father and your mother. Yes. Leave your father and your mother and cleave to your wife. The essence of marriage is that you will live, and then, according to my husband, cleave. It's not like you totally abandon your family, but they should not have 100% decision in your family. You as a man should be able to stand as the head, and you as a woman should be able to submit to your head and not be going back to your mommy for everything or your daddy for everything. Like, what was that? And then on that personal notion of what you want, what you've envisioned, like, I want a man that's like this, I want a man who is this and all of that. Sometimes have you, like, inquired from God if that's what God wants for you? Because the main reason for marriage is companionship, right? When God said, It's not good that a man be alone.
Yeah.
Companionship. The second one is so that they can fulfill purpose together. So God created Eve so that he can help Adam in his work in Eden. So you don't just choose just because you like, or you choose based on what you are already doing, your purpose. Have you even found your purpose in the first place? So those are the things you consider. So when you want to argue between what God wants and what you want, it's always better to choose what God wants.
Yeah.
And what God wants does not initially look good to you. It does not look appealing. God knows how to shield his things. He does not show it sweet in that moment. After you've worked with God for a while, after a while you begin to see the beauty in everything. But I assure you, God's will is always better.
The best.
No matter how it may look like, God's will is always better. When God told Abraham to leave his father's house and go to a land where he does not know, it felt like foolishness. But in the long run, it was better.
Yeah.
When Joseph had the dream that he was going to be someone that people look up to, and the starter pack was what? Slavery and being prison. You understand? It doesn't really look good, but it's actually better. So when it comes to the argument of what God wants versus what I want, choose God's will for your life, and make sure you even know that will, because some people don't even know the will. And then there's this other argument of God told me he's my husband. God told me she's my husband. You better be sure that it's God that is telling you. If it's not God that is telling you, I have seen many God said that turned out to be something else.
The issue of God said is that as God is telling you, let God also be telling the other person. You understand?
You cannot be one-sided.
So it's not be like only one person is hearing God. You can be fascinated or having infatuation about somebody.
Dreaming about
and you start dreaming about them.
I know God is talking to me.
In fact, there are some persons who use it to bully women. Guys, stop that, please. Stop that, please. Stop it. Don't do that, please. We've grown past that level now. There is a more advanced. If you can't ask a lady, I'll go to ChatGPT and at least
ChatGPT.
At least ask ChatGPT, how do you do it?
Was it ChatGPT you used?
Go and read the book of Songs of Solomon.
Yes.
You hear rhymes. Start there. Don't
wisdom.
And this is it. I've seen some women who fall sheepishly to God say you will. That's not completely right. And you'll notice that this man that is saying this has flaws, have character. My dear, they say love is blind. Marriage will open your eyes.
Why?
Don't leave all the red banner and the red
billboard. It's not red flag, now red billboard.
Some of them are very visible. The guy is beating you. You guys are not married.
He's asking for sex.
He's already slapping you. He's already saying you will sleep for him. He's already saying you will kneel down to serve him, whatever. Or he's like dehumanizing you. And you're saying he said God said, my dear.
Or you can actually sense that he's not responsible.
Yes. He does not give you anything. He does not show commitment in any way or the other. My dear, leave that guy. Leave him. You hear what I said? That's advice. Sorry, it might look hard, but sincerely, your future is brighter. It's too bright for you to do that kind of mistake. I've seen marriage, marriage makes people's lives better.
Yes.
But it can also shred your life into pieces. Understand? Don't choose your life to pieces. Anybody who enters into marriage and comes out, they don't come out the same. Have you seen when you glue two paper together and you try to detach it? What happens? That you find out some parts will go with this, some parts will go with this. You don't come out whole. You come out with scars.
Yeah.
And that scars is not something you want to have.
And even before you marry, I will always advise, enjoy your singleness. Don't just rush from being single to marry. It's not, you think it's all a bed of roses. It's not. Enjoy being single because that season will eventually come to an end. And you cannot move from being single to married and being single again. It doesn't work that way. You cannot move from primary 1 to primary 2 and say you want to go back to primary 1. It's a lie. It's a lie. You move from single to married, and if you want to come out, you are divorced or separated. You can't be single again. It cannot be. So before you make that decision, make sure you are sure that you are in the right will of God
for you.
That's what we have to say today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following.
Thank you.
We encourage that you subscribe, like, and share this video to whoever you believe needs to hear it. And we will see you next time on Unscripted
with the KDees.